Maria Gokdane, that is in the circle. Another transfer now in her second year at North Carolina, coming from Boston College. They're in the circle, and North Carolina comes up with the ball to start the show.
Well, I think you're going to see Pitt really change up their defenses, but they usually start in man like they are now, and then they try to come back and forth out of zones, out of timeouts, or out of bounds. It'll be interesting to see the chess match here that way.
Coach, we talked a lot about Carolina's defense coming into this one, but Pitt as well has been really good with finding ways to contain on the defensive end.
Yeah, they've been good. I mean, the turnaround they had in their game the other night, they shut SMU down for the entire second half by just being up in people the whole game.
Outscored them 28-0 in the third quarter. As you're looking at the Pitt starting five at the bottom of your screen, they've had 5 different starting lineups. At the beginning of the season, losing one of their primary starters, but also finding different rotations with this one here.
Yeah, they're a little thin today. We have 9 players basically playing, and they've tried to actually keep the rotation at 7 with all the injuries they had earlier in the year.
Washenitz with 3 on the shot clock, evens the score at 2.
She's gotten so much better over the last 12 months.
But right away, Indya Nivar, who has also seen some major improvements after a season. Interior pass, Phi couldn't connect, and Gokdane with her reach, deflecting the shot.
I think this is a great matchup between the 2 post players. They both like the low block. They both can shoot it with either hand. This is going to be a nice matchup.
Taking a look at the Tar Heel starting lineup at the bottom of your screen as well. Renee Kelly. Good to see her back on the floor after missing a great portion of last season due to injury. As we have a foul, the first foul of this ball game.
Yeah, they call it an offensive foul. It's, you know, one of those ones I probably would like to let go a little bit, but the offense did lead with their shoulder. Yep,
that was Mikayla Johnson picking up her first. Got a look at Tori Verdi in his second season here with Pitt.
This is the changing defenses. Now a little bit of 1-2-2 press back into a zone. They trap out of their zone.
And the pressure, we were able to see that at shoot around earlier, just how they need to deflect, use their length as well to contain. Nivar, 3 ball, short.
That's been a struggle for her this year. Trying to put a lot of pressure on herself offensively, and she's just not quite consistent with her jump shot right now.
Yeah, shooting 24% from 3, has only knocked down the 11 threes, but it's gone back and forth. Another turnover for Pitt. Usby spins around, tried to thread the needle to Maria, but amidst the turnover there.
I think the other thing here will be the difference in turnovers today. Both teams force a lot of turnovers, but Pitt has a history of committing as many as they've been forcing, and both teams need, as coaches said yesterday, hey, we've got to control that part of the game.
Speaking with Tori Verdi, he mentioned how they have to take care of the ball. He's coming in, North Carolina has forced 12 of their opponents to 20 or more turnovers, so that was high on their priority list. 3 ball good for Lexi Donarski, who on the scouting report does say that she can knock it down from outside.
And shoots it quickly, too. She gets it off very quickly. They want to stay attached to her as best they can.
Hit 5 threes in their previous game against SMU. They won that one 64-33. The response on the other end for Washenitz, off the mark.
It's interesting to start the game. Usually you see Gokdane with the most post-ups early, and they've gone right to Usby to start the game on the block.
Off the mark there. Pitt looking for some points. They've been a bit of a drought. Carolina has 5 straight stops. Phi steps up and ends the drought there.
That's one of the biggest improvements in her game, is she's been able to extend her range out to about 15, 16 feet. In both of their games this week, she knocked down a lot of mid-range jump shots.
How about her finding a home here in Pittsburgh after 2 stops at Texas Tech and then Texas? It's an offensive foul for Alyssa Usby. Picks up the offensive foul.
Here's the loose ball side of it at a good angle. Gokdane falls. Phi just turns and squares up. Much more comfortable with that shot.
Outside three ball, no good. Phi tried to find a way to keep her hands on it.
Needed to get two hands on that one.
Absolutely. Kelly came in to strip it away. The interior pass, no good, as a traveling violation will be assessed against North Carolina.
So Coach Verdi talked about one of the biggest keys was to try to make Carolina play in the half court and not give up transition baskets, even to the point of sending 2.5 people back. Well, they've already given up some early post-ups in transition. I don't think he's going to be too happy with that.
Approaching the halfway point here in the first quarter as Miles off the deck, challenging Kelly, but runs into Gokdang.
Good defense again with crowding the lane. Carolina is always sending people to the ball. You're going to have to make an extra pass against them.
That has to be the case. Pittsburgh right now shooting 28% from the field and have 1 assist. 8 on the shot clock. The interior pass to Phi. She tried to send it on the inside to the 5'4" guard and Lexi Donarski.
That's you got to be there on the catch with her. You cannot be late.
Different spot on the three-point line. Same results as she knocks down her second triple of the day. Marley Washenitz. And it has been a struggle for anyone in the paint to get around Maria Gokdang. Interior pass that's sent out, and that's coughed up as well. And both teams have struggled with taking care of the ball early.
You got to take better shots than this, though.
Both teams with 4 turnovers and another offensive foul against Carolina that will give the ball back to Pitt.
Well, Lexi Donarski, if you give her an inch, she's gonna have room to get her favorite shot.
So Carolina with 4 turnovers in the last 2 minutes of play, but this one right here goes down for Lexi Donarski, her second triple of the day. ACC Network Basketball is presented by Food Lion, official grocer of the ACC, and the Panthers hoping for some of that magic they had against SMU 2 games ago, where they completed the largest regulation comeback win in NCAA women's basketball history. You can see Tori Verdi there getting the crowd off of their feet. What an incredible game. They outscored them 28-0 in the third quarter, and it wound up, after being down by 32, Coach, winning by 13.
It was funny, doing my prep, both teams were playing at the same time. So when Pitt was down so much in the second quarter, I turned it off. And Ivory, you'll love this if you're listening. The only reason I turned it back is you were saying, what a comeback by Pitt. And I flipped it back and went, oh my.
She really does just break down the games very well. She keeps us all in the know. Right now, her and Justin in the studio for today, as we get to cover her Tar Heels. And to start off, coming out of the break too, Coach, I mean, 9 combined turnovers, but a really big 3 by Elmore from outside the first triple.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, they have Phi on the bench for a couple minutes here, and they just played a different style offensively, and all of a sudden you got a wide open shot.
Mikayla Elmore, the transfer from Clemson, getting on the board after being in for just a few seconds, and Pitt gets the stop on the other end, the pull up, and Mikayla Johnson knocks that one down. Back-to-back buckets out of the timeout for Pitt.
That's just an easy bucket. Coach Banghart is not going to be happy with the turnovers already. I mean, they've pride themselves on being the one that forces them, and they're the ones throwing it all over the place. 6
turnovers early for North Carolina. They average about 12 a game.
Pitt just dodged a bullet on that shot.
Johnson loses the ball on the attempt on the baseline. That was a player that Tori Verdi said needs to be shown a little bit more love, but as far as the confidence he's seen in her, it's gone through the roof. Touch pass to the corner. Kelly, 3 in and out. Well, Miles got the hand on it.
I love watching Kelly play. She's been the answer they needed at point guard.
Mikayla Elmore took one too many steps on the take, and so we have some substitutions on both sides of the ball. With Adija Phi checking back into the ball game.
I know we'll talk about it as we go, but while we have a second here, the matchup in the post between Gakdang and Phi is an interesting one because they were kind of unknown players, and now you have WNBA scouts all over the place coming to watch these two players and say, hey, can they play in this league? Look at them fight right now down on the low block.
To your point, and then not needing the double coverage for both sides.
Yep.
Outside shot. Off the mark for Grace Townsend, just checked in the ball game for the Tar Heels. Carolina has gone 0 for 4. Their last attempts down the floor, trying to see if they can contain on the defensive end, but Pitt has shown a little bit more urgency coming out of that break.
Much more urgency. And they have to just make sure that they don't rush themselves. You know, they've come down a couple times with turnovers of trying to go one-on-one against a set defense. That gets you in trouble right now against Carolina.
So Pitt as well, stringing things together on the defensive end. They have 6 straight stops, and on the other side, how about the deflection by Indya Nivar, which causes yet another turnover for Pitt, but the activity you have to see from North Carolina to dictate the pace for them to see success in this game.
Well, you have so many players on North Carolina that have a defensive mindset from the start. You know, sometimes you're having to convince players of that. Hello.
I felt like you would send that one home for us, Coach.
Hello.
Adija Phi just coming from the weak side.
There it is. 2 hands straight up. It's how you draw it up as a coach.
Another deflection underneath. That time Elmore getting in hand on it, and 17 left on the shot clock for the Tar Heels.
I think this past week has done a world of good. I mean, you're looking at a team that's only got 1 ACC win, but Pitt has much more confidence about them, a much better body language about them. Obviously, the game against SMU helped, but they played well for a long period at North Carolina State the other night. And I think you just see them have a little bit more pizzazz about them. It's a double dribble. Yeah,
double dribble for Pitt, and they've done such an incredible job after that timeout. 7 straight stops on the defensive end. So yet another turnover.
End of the game for the Panthers, 23, Mikayla Johnson.
But what they've been able to do as well, to your point, Jory Verdi mentioned that SMU game gave them the life of you are never out of a game. How to compete in this league, and it's going to be tough every single time, but you have to be that threat.
You know, when they were at NC State the other night, I think with 5 minutes to go, it was like a 6 or 7 point game, and that's a hard place to play. Nivar really doesn't want to shoot that ball yet.
Has already missed 1 attempt on the outside as Carolina has the short shot clock once again.
No,
Donarski.
Don't go behind there.
Almost made him pay, Coach. Maria Gakdang, so active in the paint. And gets the bucket.
So long. Her wingspan adds to that height.
She looks so much taller than 6'3".
As soon as she puts her hands up, she's about 6'6".
A coach's dream, I'm sure. Poked away by Indya Nivar, who has seen that activity on the defensive end. That's something that Coach Banghart loves about what she's been able to provide this team. As we have more substitutions, Alyssa Usby comes back into the ball game, along with Blanca Thomas, the 6'5" freshman.
They have huge hopes for her. They feel like she's a great natural replacement going forward when Gakdang graduates.
Especially on the defensive end out of Charlotte. Was a 2023 Defensive Player of the Year for the Charlotte Observer. But another turnover for the Tar Heels. They have to find a way to take care of the ball as they come up with their 7th. Less than a minute to play here in the first quarter.
Well, this is what you see a lot from Pitt. If they don't have an easy early post-up, they go to a wing ball screen, see if teams switch.
Tar Heels can hold for the last shot of the quarter as they send the ball over to Lani Grant. 10 to work with to finish the quarter. Going against Johnson. Going one-on-one. Thought she got bumped and finds it off the glass for the bucket. Time expires, and that will do it for the first quarter as the
Be consistent with your effort and your energy and, you know, following scouting reports, and that's what they've been great at.
Phi in the game, rims that one in. An early look to Phi out of the timeout.
Now in the game for North Carolina, number 10, Lani Grant.
So just a 3-point game with Khadijah 5 finding some rhythm on the inside, but Lexi Donarski knocking down her third triple, and Tori Verdi is trying to figure things out.
I looked at him scratch his head, put his hands over his eyes. But one thing they talked about yesterday, no matter what we do in our zone, don't leave Donarski. And she was the most wide open person on the court.
Mikayla Johnson is able to respond with a bucket of her own, but Lexi Donarski with 9 of their 17 points. Usby turns down the 3, has not been a player that wants to take that outside shot. Kelly turns around to face up, wide right.
Good save by Elmore, trying to keep them going out of bounds. Pitt slowing it down a little bit to make sure they get a play they want right now.
North Carolina coming in 16-3.
Trying to get Phi on the weak side block before double teams can get there.
And that's a face-up that she can hit. So even when she does get on the block, it's how she can pull you out.
Yep, you know, with her back to the basket, she's more of a turn to my left shoulder, shoot it with my right hand. But facing up, she's had to work on that game based on the defenses that she has seen.
Grant turns the ball over there, trying to get it to Kelly on the wing. That is the 8th turnover for the Tar Heels. Pitt with the same.
Well, Pitt has really slowed the offense down a little bit.
Got Erin Battle at the top of the key. She's been in and out of the starting rotation for Pitt. Less than 10 seconds on the shot clock. She pulls up, left side, in and out.
Good battle inside.
Lexi Donarski thought there was an advantage for Usby going against Elmore on the block. It's knocked out of bounds with 2 players coming in for Pitt.
Get a little bit more experience back on the court again. Back to their starting group.
Marley Washington, who was named a captain a few games in. Coach said the positivity that she had and just her numbers on average just have gone through the roof. Has been a bright spot.
He said she spent all summer working on her shot, becoming more consistent, and it's paid off.
Are you surprised with the amount of activity that Pitt has provided to cause the turnovers, or surprised more with Carolina not taking care of the ball?
Well, I think Coach Verdi is a defensive first coach too, just like Coach Banghart, and they know they are offensively challenged some nights, so they have to be good defensively, and they have length, so they've learned to use that too.
They're 17th nationally in taking care of the ball and 2nd in the ACC with 12.5 per game, and right now they're sitting at 9.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Coach Banghart, that's probably the one thing she wouldn't have predicted about this game, that they're going to turn it over this much.
She has a couple of rotations, trying to find some type of rhythm on the floor as there's a foul committed against Pitt. Alyssa Usby will step to the line. That's going to be on Mikayla Elmore, which will be her first foul of the game. Alyssa Usby stepping to the free throw line has not done well from the charity stripe, shooting just 55%. That knocks it down.
In general, both of these teams, that's if you could improve one area about them for close games, they both need to become better free throw shooting teams.
Well, coming up next, our quadruple header rolls on in Blacksburg with Hokies taking on Louisville, and the day is capped off by Olivia Miles and third-ranked Notre Dame. They'll be hosting SMU. So those free throws are the first points by both teams as the 3 balls is knocked down. And how about Mikayla Elmore just giving the, hey, if they're going to leave me open, I'm going to knock it down.
That was a really nice back door to start the play, and then the extra pass gets you wide open 3.
Mikayla Elmore has been huge for them this game. 6 points for her, 2 triples, but the 6 rebounds to add.
Another great block. So this play here starts with a nice back door, and Washington is smart enough that she sees the crowd to find Elmore wide open, and she has a quick trigger. She's really learned to speed up her release to get that off.
And on the other side, Khadijah 5 with her 3rd block of the game. Trying to get the ball on the block going against Maria. Maria with 3 on the shot clock. Nivar for the 3, off the mark, and Alyssa Usby comes down with the rebound. I talked to Coach Verdi, and he mentioned what is so tough about Alyssa Usby, and he said it's her will, it's her skill. And I love that quote from him because that's exactly what everyone is facing within this ACC league.
Exactly. I mean, she's not the best shooter. She's not the tallest person, and yet at 6'1", she outworks most people she plays against. She's got great footwork, so she can get herself shots that maybe other people can't get. And then she gets a tough matchup every night defensively that she's willing to take on.
Carolina 1 for 5 in this quarter, just shooting 20% from the field as we're approaching the halfway mark here in the second quarter, shooting 31% overall in the game. By the frustrating miss there.
Well, I think Gokdeng's length is bothering her a little bit.
Grant, corner 3, counted. It's almost surprising to think that she had to reclassify a 17-year-old.
17 years old.
5 points for Lani Grant as she had the 2 to end the first quarter. Knocks down the triple as well.
And Grant was an all-state player, all 3. I mean, freshman, sophomore, and junior year. So she said, why not?
I think she's been tested enough on the high school level. The 2024 Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year as well, has 4 games in double figures as Elmore couldn't connect on yet another triple. Renaya Kelly will set things up and try and figure out if they can get some points on the board in this possession. Knock down 2 field goals, and that'll be the second foul.
That's a foul that you can't commit. I mean, so as we talked about Grant, she acts like a veteran. I mean, I watched her in practice yesterday. She just thinks she belongs. 17 years old, came to college early, said I'm good enough, and they agree.
I'm sure you coached a couple of those personalities once or twice in your career.
You need that kind of personality to make it at this level, to be a great player.
That's
There's
for you,
another
Coach.
one.
Did she point at you? Yeah. I'm trying to figure out if she went.
Yeah, she doesn't know me enough yet.
8 early points. Lani Grant, the freshman that has come in 5'9". Has been remarkable from the floor in this game. And Indya Nivar on the defensive end causes yet another turnover for Pitt. That'll be their 9th.
Well, as we said before, Grant has this confidence. She is deep behind the line on this one. No problem. I'll knock it down. Swish. This is a great matchup. Oh, there's a good matchup. Oh, there's another good matchup.
Sounds like you have all your devices up. A lot of pressure coming from Pitt out of the timeout. That was something that they worked on in their shoot-around as well. Finding ways to be disruptive, but to your point, Tori Verdi also mentioned that they have to find ways to make Carolina set up in their half-court offense.
Yeah, they like to come out of timeouts like that on side out-of-bounds plays or baseline out-of-bounds plays and trap the first pass, and so they try to make you do something different than what you drew up at a timeout. Coaches really want to use timeouts to get a specific play, and Pitt's philosophy is, well, we're going to take that away from you.
10 on the shot clock. Miles gets the double screen at the top of the key. Johnson pulls up for the 3, hits the back iron. Grant, strong take to the rim, misses the target.
Another Usby rebound.
Bully ball on the inside, couldn't get it up off the square, so just short, and Pitt with 2 stops.
I mean, again, if they could just get some sort of consistency to their offense, and right there you get an opportunity to get in transition and you miss a layup.
It's been a weird rhythm for both sides of the ball.
The one thing that has still stood out is, you know, I think Carolina's frustrated because their offense hasn't been smooth. They've knocked down some big threes to have the lead, but their defense has still held up no matter what. You know, and that's what we were talking about earlier. And Pitt's going to try to get another idea about how to change this up.
Well, Nivar able to put them on the glass with her 2nd field goal of the day as Tori Verdi trying to clean some things up on the defensive end.
All right.
Quick timeout for Pitt as they're trying to find ways to contain North Carolina on the offensive end. North Carolina right now on an 8-0 run. As Pitt will come out of the break with the ball. Miles up top. A battle underneath. There's Phi in 3 blue jerseys. As there's a foul. It's going to be assessed with Pitt getting it back.
Well, they're trying to go high-low to take away the double team. There's such a crowd around Phi, and she's willing to fight her way through it to get a chance at another possession, which she did.
Indya Nivar picks up her 2nd foul of the game. Reset shot clock underneath, gives Pitt the ball. Johnson sends it into Phi. Going at Gokdang, brings a double team as well.
Gets fouled.
And then gets fouled. She'll get 2 at the charity stripe, but are you surprised to see that double team coming in as well?
Well, I think, you know, we talked to Coach Banghart. I said, will you double her a lot? She said, no, just enough to make her guess a little bit. You know, we'll do it some, but we're not going to let her see the same defense every single time.
Okay.
It's a little bit harder to double when it's coming from the top, too.
So Phi knocks down the free throw, as this is her first trip to the free throw line.
Here's the jump, and Gokdang just extends her arm too much. You got to go straight up. She got enough length to bother her no matter what anyway. You don't need to reach out.
Khadijah Phi coming off a 28-point game, shot 12 for 22 from the field. Trying to still find her rhythm in this one. She's just sitting at 5 points. Maria, the spin move and denied once again. Our 4th block, make it 5, but couldn't contain on the 3rd attempt.
And it's tough because Phi's in a position where you don't want to get a 3rd foul. And you want to be aggressive. She got the 1st block, but it's hard. You can't keep fighting it without getting a physical contact.
Mikayla Johnson sends it back to Miles up top. A lot of short shot clocks for the Panthers. Coming out of the break, Elmore pulls up from outside and drains yet another triple, her 3rd.
If I'm North Carolina, I got to be going to a timeout and say, hey, you got to make Elmore dribble the ball. You can't let her just stand and shoot the ball. You know, she's not as good a player off the bounce. 9
of her points coming from outside. Less than 90 seconds left in this first half. The turnaround, what a beautiful shot by Toomey.
I'm surprised Grant passed up that 3. It was the same spot she was open before. There's the extra help.
Phi tries to respond with the face-up of her own. That's knocked out of bounds by Kelly. So 20 on the shot clock. Panthers will get it back underneath. And Blanca Thomas will check in the ball game for the Tar Heels.
Well, Pitt could really use a score here to keep this close going into halftime. You got a score and a stop. And North Carolina on the other side of it saying, hey, we got to get a stop and open up the lead a little bit. Yeah, I think one of the other trends in college basketball right now that I'm seeing, it's getting harder and harder to get the ball in easily on baseline out of bounds plays. Coaches spend way much more time defending it. There's more switching to take away things, but it's difficult.
I mean, it was a battle for Elmore to find ways to get to the rim. She does indeed get the ball and got fouled in the process. So she'll be stepping to the free throw line for the first time today. Mikayla Elmore, the 6'3" senior out of Ohio, will be stepping to the free throw line as with the last minute and 10 seconds left, Phi will take a trip to the bench.
Yeah, I want to keep her from getting that extra foul here before halftime.
So how about Mikayla Elmore in double figures, the only player in double figures for both sides, now with 11. 6 rebounds to add.
She's spaced the floor for them. She's knocked down threes. She's done a pretty good job defensively in the post with her length. If she can keep improving at the rate she has the last 2 weeks, then Pitt's going to keep getting better as the season goes on.
Grace Townsend checks in for the Tar Heels, known for her defense. The transfer from Richmond. Last year eclipsed 600 career assists. Let's see what she can do in the last minute of play here in the first half. Lexi Donarski.
Carolina playing with 4 guards right now.
And one of them knocks it down.
Knocks it down. Space the floor that way. You can penetrate. You have an extra shooter to pass to.
Renaya Kelly now with her first bucket of the ball game. The final 30 seconds here in the first half. Kelly gets a hand on it and couldn't find the grip, so that rolls out of bounds. Townsend tried to save it as well, but it'll go back to Pitt.
Mikayla Johnson needs to kind of slow herself down a little bit. She's just trying so hard to make things happen, but she's gotten herself caught in a crowd with an extra defender there. She got an offensive foul earlier. Just take what's there. Got 9 on the shot clock.
Here comes Miles, gets the screen, going to the rim. And the Tar Heels have time to get a good shot with 12 seconds left on the game clock to end out the first half. Deep seal underneath, almost like it was drawn up.
It was. I mean, they ran the floor to get that quickly.
Miles can't connect on the half-court key, but what a good seal for Blanca Thomas to end the course as a team that you can never count them out.
No, and they, you know, they know that they have done this before. They haven't played bad basketball. They've just missed shots, and they've had turnovers that you just can't have.
Kelly receives it, playing a little bit of two-man ball as Alyssa Usby going at Phi. How about her picking up her 5th block of the day? Johnson contests. Phi got bumped and a late whistle, which will send it back to Pitt.
That's a really good defensive position for Pitt. They had both post players, Elmore and Phi, in the lane contesting shots. The rest of the perimeter players collapse the paint to help, and then you get a rebound to get a stop.
That'll be Renaya Kelly's first foul of the ball game.
This is their overload set where they try to get Phi one-on-one and see if they can see where the double team's coming from. Good offensive rebound.
Gets her own rebound, going at Maria once again. Has a low release against such long length, though.
That's a hard shot to take right there. You're going to have to find different ways to get separation.
Maria found the separation, couldn't find the bucket as Elmore brings down the rebound. Elmore now at 7 rebounds and 11 points. Off the deck, sends it out. Miles with the fake to the corner, pulls up for the 3 and knocks down the triple.
That'd give a little boost maybe to get her game going. She had a very quiet first half offensively. Now they're back in their zone, trying to keep the ball on the side.
Yeah, Brooklyn Miles only had the 4 points coming off of their loss against NC State. And her first bucket of the ball game was that triple.
Gotting just lost control of the ball on that pass. Great setup for her.
You can see the emphasis trying to find ways to get Phi some points in the paint, and a foul called. We'll see who it goes against.
Well, this one you just can't pass up if you're Miles. I mean, she ball fakes, takes the defender out. You have to shoot that. Nice rhythm to her shot.
And on the other side, Marley Washington picks up the foul. Tried to find a way to get the ball into Phi.
You just can't over dribble so much doing that.
This is a team that outscored the Wolfpack 36-22 in the paint. A big reason for that is because of Hadija, who has been quiet for today. Just 5 points, 2 for 8 from the field.
Well, she hasn't played against that much length in a while either. Gotting's length bothers everybody.
And Renaya Kelly's pressure bothering Miles.
And all that pressure right now takes probably 6-7 seconds off the shot clock.
Despite that, Mikayla Johnson on the take gets the bucket. Johnson now with 6 points. And more stoppage of play.
Not a good play by Washington there. She had a mismatch defending Usby, and Usby just made her have to do something one way or the other to take her out of the play, and bad choice with the foul.
Takes her out of the play, but also brings her out of the ball game with her third foul.
Exactly.
3 straight double-figure games for Marley Washington. Had 3 threes in the last 3 as well, and now finds herself on the bench with 3 fouls.
I feel like every team that lets Donarski have that kind of a shot feels like they dodge a bullet when she misses. Oh, what a missed opportunity.
Yeah, wanting that last one back, and that's what Coach Verdi mentioned, finding quick buckets. They haven't had a lot of those opportunities as the 3 ball off the mark for Kelly. Here comes Miles. Speedy first step, finds Johnson on the wing, and couldn't knock that one down.
And they made their comeback last week against SMU. Those were the shots that were going in the 3rd quarter. Wide open shots coming down the floor in transition off their defense.
Pitt shooting 4 for 10 from outside. Big part of their 3 success has been Elmore. Nivar with 5 seconds on the shot clock gets it to Maria and is able to draw the foul. So now fouls starting to rack up the wrong way for Pitt.
Yeah, when we were talking to the coaches yesterday, we were talking about, little keys to the game. And one of them is you have post players like Gokdeng and Fai, who their teams depend on so much, they can't get in foul trouble.
Well, Hadijah Fai now with her 3rd. You mentioned on the other end, too, has 6 blocked shots already today. That is a player that you cannot have out of the ball game.
And right now, some fans will say, well, why wouldn't you take her out with a 3rd foul? They have to stay in contact right here. It's nice you say, well, I'll take her out and I'll bring her back. You could be down 20 by the time you bring her back. You just got to gamble that she's smart enough to not pick up her 4th right here and let her continue to make an impact on the game.
I love that you highlighted that battle that we were going to see between Maria and Hadijah as well. Maria right now winning that battle, 11 rebounds and 7 points. Outside 3 ball in and out.
That's a good look.
Indya Nivar, aggressive take, gets her own rebound, sends it to Lexi Donarski, who camped out at the 3-point line and knocks down her 4th of the day.
And Torrey Verdi's taking a timeout right here. He just shook his head the minute the ball was in the air to her. When you come down the court, no matter what happens, in the middle of all this, you got to find Donarski, and that's too slow to get to her. This is the stuff of their bad dreams. You have a 3-point shooter that needs no time to get it off, and yet here she is, Lexi Donarski, getting shot after shot. One of the best ways you can get an open 3 is off an offensive rebound, and North Carolina has done a fantastic job to kick it out on an offensive rebound, and she's standing there all by herself.
And she's not slowing down at all.
And she could miss 3 in a row, and she'll shoot the next one. And that's a rhythm shot for her, and it's so easy. You know that if you have a good offensive rebounding team as a guard, you just slide to where they can find you.
Well, you know what I hope helps coaches smile before they go to sleep at night is when you have a great shooter shooting great percentages from the field. She has 8 games shooting 50% or better from the field, but also 6 games shooting those same percentages from outside.
Well, that's the difference in dreams. Courtney Banghart has the good dream. Coach Verdi does not.
There you have it, the tale of 2 sides. Out of the break, 8 to work with for the Panthers. Miles sends it off to Biggs now in the game. Fai has little time to work with, was able to get it up and gets it in. Fai now at 7 points.
Home court bounce there.
She willed that one in. A speed turns around, nothing but net.
That's her first basket of the game.
But I love that you mentioned that her plus minus in this one, her impact everywhere else.
Everywhere else, she's a +10 before that shot.
And she's added 6 rebounds in this ball game as well. Lexi Donarski sends it on the inside. Is that a second bucket? Indeed it is.
Run the floor hard in transition, good things happen. You have a willing shooter who got 2 defenders come on running out to her that time, found the open Utsby.
And if there's anyone watching this game, the youth of this game, understanding how to do your work before the ball even gets to you, that's key.
Exactly. I mean, she just knew that she could out-sprint everybody from the time, that we turned.
They'll step aside. We'll do the same as Alyssa Usby making her way in this third quarter. Well, here comes Alyssa Usby after the first quarter where she had 0 rebounds and 0 points. Third quarter, well, 6 points, 6 rebounds. She's starting to feel it a little bit.
Starting to feel she's gotten, you know, her conditioning is so good that right now she's starting to outrun people down the floor. She gets an extra rebound because she's running. And if you don't block her out, she's going to be standing on the rim making things happen. And that's what she's done here, particularly in the second half.
Renaya Kelly trying to figure out why she took a spill on the floor. Instead, they do get the ball after the stop. Maria Gakdeng has had a very good, impressive game so far, just a couple of points away from a double-double. Indya Nivar off the mark. And a foul by Indya Nivar on the attempt to steal from Battle.
So we call that the 94-foot foul that you should not commit. You make a mistake, you miss a shot, let it go. Run back to the other end. Don't compound it, double the mistake with fouling that far away from the basket. The only thing worse is doing it when you're in the bonus.
My heart stopped as soon as you said that, understanding what that means. Also her third foul of the ball game as Renaya Kelly will take a seat. See more of Lani Grant on the court as Elmore steps up for the three. Can't knock that one down. Reminder that she hit the three in the first half. Pitt has found some ways to get some good stops against Carolina, but with the double team, 5.
That was optimistic.
For her to find the ball back in her hands, though. How about 5? Getting points the hard way, now with 9 and 7 rebounds, or 8 rebounds now.
The rebounding has really, really picked up for the people who I call the key rebounders in this game, both ends. When you don't have other stuff working for you, you can keep doing that. That's an effort thing that can help your team.
Effort gets you more opportunities to score as well. Carolina coming off of a game where they had 51 rebounds versus SMU in that 30-point win.
And 18 of those 51 were Usby's.
Tying her career high with 18. Grant turns down the 3. Got fouled on the drive, trying to get it out to Usby. So Mikayla Elmore will pick up her second foul. And North Carolina in the bonus now, so they'll get free throws the rest of this quarter. All right, well, Thursday at 10 Eastern after our women's basketball doubleheader, the Nothing But Net crew will break down the night in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every women's game and look ahead at the best matchups on the schedule for the weekend. We've got you covered all season right here on the AC Network and the ESPN app. 14-point lead for the Tar Heels, looking to have their best start in ACC play since 2013-2014 season. And a good response on the other side for Pitt as Aislinn Malcolm knocks down the mid-range shot.
They really need her to try to get going so they have a little bit more depth. We've seen a couple really easy missed layups today from really good players. I don't know if the length around them is bothering them.
From jump, we had 9 turnovers at the first break. Both teams have found a way to take care of the ball in the second quarter, but still looking like they need to find that rhythm. Whomever is on the court is Indya Nivar, has the take, finds space on the right, just short on the layup. And Elmore gets the rebound.
Carolina's really, really running the floor well with great spacing. I mean, they have a middle lane post runner. They have 3-point shooters running to the arc.
Khadija 5 founds another bucket on the other end. I think most impressive is the fact that she has 7 blocks on the night. Aislinn Malcolm, who had her first bucket of the ball game 2 plays ago, finds Elmore. Battle will set things up at the top of the key.
To Pitt's credit, they've kind of kept contact here. You know, they were starting to get away from them a few minutes ago.
They can make it a single-digit game. Can on that 3 attempt. Phi trying to save it in bounds and hits it off the leg of Lexi Donarski, so they'll get the ball back.
Great hustle. Sometimes, you have a play like that where Phi really can't get a full grasp of the ball, but just keeping it alive, it's a great play. I mean, she has no chance except she knocks it off of Donarski, and now they get another possession.
North Carolina had a 14-point lead.
And then
then the turnover, Indya Nivar, and builds on it there. And a missed opportunity to cut into the lead to close out the quarter. Still some time left, about an 11-second difference.
Trying to get a 2-for-1, but that's a little tough there because there's not much time coming back. Too late to try to take that 2-for-1 shot.
Yep, battle 0 for 5 from the field, so they'll, as the Tar Heels will hold for the last shot of the quarter. Indya Nivar up top, getting some instruction from Courtney Banghart.
I think you'll see them go under on the screen, make her have to shoot it. Yeah,
Lexi Donarski.
Guard her.
Pitt very fortunate that Lexi Donarski was short on that attempt. Has already knocked down 4 triples on the day, and that will do it. The thing that I know is that we have always felt his presence, his impact, and being a part and the voice for the Atlanta Dream, where that name was not picked, that was picked for them. They said this is going to be something where we are living out his legacy. His daughter continues to come to the games and support, and just understanding how that dream continues to be processed even in his passing. So it's just really remarkable to think about how he continues to inspire the next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think probably college age when he was assassinated, and it was such a impactful time in my life to see something so dramatically change the world. I just can't say enough about his influence on every walk of life in the United States since.
His dream allows me to live out mine, and so I am forever grateful for all those that have used their voice, and then for his losing his life and using his voice for love, and just continuing to make sure that the next generation applies the same pressure to make sure that all are created equal.
Very true, amen.
On the other side, North Carolina knocking down the triple, extending their lead 52-37 here in the 4th quarter. Indya Nivar, as you can see her. How about a career-high 7 steals for Miss Nivar, as Thomas will check out of the ball game.
Again, you know, you're not maybe having a huge night offensively to help your team, but you're doing something else that's about winning. They're just winning plays.
A lot of contact underneath. An offensive foul will actually be called against Adija Phi, which is going to be her 4th, but that was a lot of contact on both sides.
Yeah, those are the hardest calls for officials. And I didn't see where it started crossing the lane, but those are the ones. Here we go. We got a bump by Gokdang and then an elbow by Phi, and they both go down. They may have missed the first one, but they did see the second one. And I think they're going to review it.
And that's exactly what they are going to do, as Mark Resch, Kayla Maxey, and Sarah Williams, the officials will review the extent of this contact. Well, ACC Network Basketball is presented by Food Lion, the official grocer of the ACC, as we have the matchup between North Carolina and Well, before the break, the officials went to the monitor to check on some extracurricular activity underneath for Hadija Fai, who picked up her 4th personal, as Mark Resch will have the call.
Ruling on the floor stands, personal foul against 15 for Pitt.
So Fai had the conversation with Mark before she was heading to the bench. But there was a lot of contact there, Coach.
Well, she's trying to cut, and I think there's a first foul on Gakdeng just trying to impede her. But then the second foul is the forearm across Gakdeng's body by Fai. That's a really hard call for any official. You know, you miss the first one, you see the second one. You know, you don't intentionally miss it. It's just it's part of the activity in the lane, as we say. But they did. It was a foul. It's just a matter whether there were 2 fouls. I would have liked personally to call it a double foul. That's what I would have preferred.
So just a couple of minutes into the 4th quarter, as Indya Nivar, as we mentioned, setting a new career high in steals with 7, has done her part on the defensive end, as Lexi Donarski has done her part on the offensive end. Usby with 6 on the shot clock. Offensive foul. And a great defensive stop by Audrey Biggs.
Just held her ground. It's a really, really good defensive play. Usby's trying to be aggressive. Good defensive play, not a good offensive play.
Second foul for Usby, who has 8 points and 7 rebounds. Corner triple, and it's been that type of second half for the Panthers.
They just, if you could knock down 2 or 3 of those in the last couple minutes that they've had wide open, it would change the game again, but they have not been able to.
2 for 8 this half from 3, shooting 25%.
That's one of Usby's favorite moves there. Up fake, step through, going to her right hand. So she gets a foul from somebody every night on that move.
It's a patent.
Come middle, show the ball, step through. She might have put her elbow out there as much as the defender did. I'm not buying that one as much, but I mean, she gets that call often.
And knocks down the first of the pair. Alyssa Usby, as we mentioned, preseason All ACC, also on the Cheryl Miller watch list. Has a career 44 double-doubles, looking for another one here today. Washenitz gets Usby off the floor, and how about Usby recovering for the block?
She's got, her length will surprise you. I mean, in 6'1", you don't think of her as big, but she has an ability to just get her long arms up there and knock the ball loose.
And another foul committed against the Panthers. A couple of substitutions. Grace Townsend comes in for the Tar Heels, as Alyssa Usby will take a seat. Mikayla Johnson back in the ball game. Gave them quite a spark in the first half.
And 5 back in, just they got, this is their last ditch effort to get back in the game. Doesn't do any good for her to sit on the bench.
Nivar knocks down the triple, something that she hasn't done well coming into this game, but her confidence through the roof right now.
Yeah, I mean, knocking down 2 threes will do worlds of good for her. Great entry pass to the post right here. Great entry pass.
3 players in double figures for North Carolina on the other side for Pitt, as you mentioned, trying to find ways to get more touches on the inside. Fai just checking in, a play ago, and finds herself at the free throw line.
She does a great job getting an early seal as the ball's coming up the floor and gets people on their back, on her back.
14 points now, 9 rebounds, 7 blocks.
I think if you're playing against Fai, you don't want to give her an angle at all. You almost have to play, if she's going to catch it, play straight between her and the basket. Don't give her one step one way or the other. Make her have to turn to shoot it.
Donarski sends it to the corner. Grant rattles that one in. How impressive has Grant been in her first season with the Tar Heels?
Well, if she keeps making shots like that and Nivar continues to get better at making threes, they'll have a lot of weapons on the perimeter.
And Washington knocking down the bucket on the other end. As prolific as she's been on the offensive end, it's tough to see that Marley just with 4 points. Donarski, top of the key. Trey, you might as well count it.
I don't think the ball stays on her fingertips less than a half a second.
We'll have to do a feature on it,
Or
Coach.
more than a half a second, I mean. Yeah.
We'll get a timer next time. Miles gets the screen from 5. Nivar was looking for her 8th steal of this ball game. 5 gets the double as Townsend comes in. 5 on the shot clock for the Panthers. Miles has to step up for the pull-up, and that's brought to an end by Gokdang.
That's kind of a wasted possession for Pitt there. They never got the ball inside where they wanted to get it.
Gokdang on the other end picks up 13 rebounds. Has been a monster on the boards in this ball game. Grant short on the triple. Gokdang career high 16 rebounds. That's back when she had her time in Boston College, and picks up yet another one with 14. There's plenty of time for her to surpass that 16. And an offensive foul going against Indya Nivar. That'll be her 4th.
That's a really, really good makeup for their offensive possession by Pitt to get a defensive stop. They've taken a few charges.
So here, Indya Nivar, a lot of contact as Marley Washington took some time to actually be helped. It'll be a great game to take in. Of course, you mentioned all your devices being up, great game after great game. It continues on the men's side as well as Pitt takes the ball out, has to go the full court. Five. The spin move, gets it up, and gets fouled in the process off the reach-in from the guard. Hadija Faye with 14 points, 9 rebounds, 6 for 13 from the field, steps up to the free throw line for just the 3rd time today.
They've stayed out of, they being North Carolina, has stayed out of foul trouble on her post-ups, mainly by doubling her more a little bit this half and making her a passer.
I asked Coach Verdi what the thing that was impressing him the most about her ascension in this year, and he said her understanding of who she has to be on the double team or even when they're not, how she has to show up every single day in the ACC.
That's a big difference. You've gone from being, you know, a backup somewhere else and not playing a lot of minutes. Now all of a sudden you're a starter, you're playing, and then you realize your team is depending on you every night. You're not only just playing and getting more minutes, you are the dependable player.
The senior from Senegal, her average at best was 6.4 back when she was with Texas, and now averaging close to a double-double this season with 18 and 9.
It's a remarkable turnaround. Her and Gokdang. I mean, Gokdang was, you know, just another player at Boston College a couple years ago, and each year she's gotten better. You could see it coming about the middle of last season for North Carolina. 2 very, very upswing post players right now. Their careers are going the right way.
That's rattled in as Townsend.
That's the Grace Townsend I remember from Richmond last year.
Was an A10 all-conference first team as a senior, over 1,000 points and 500 assists. Another triple, as this one's coming from Zubin.
Another freshman who hasn't played a lot, but a game like this can get her going a little bit too.
Scored over 3,000 points during her prep career, ranked 69th in her class. Anyone that says over 3,000 points, I feel like you can light it up.
Yeah.
You got a couple reps.
I couldn't even make 3,000 points in like warm-up lines.
I highly doubt that, Coach. I feel like you got a little left in the tank. Townsend sends it off to the top of the key. Toomey, and right now, it's just a three-point clinic for the Tar Heels, looking for their third ACC win.
Well, if you run the floor and you run it hard and the other team gets tired, you can wear them down. That's just 2 possessions in a row where Pitt didn't make the extra defensive effort. They got back initially, but they don't get out to shooters. That's what happens. Carolina celebrating a 3-ball game.
So Carolina 4-2, looking for their third straight win on the road. That's something that they've been very good at in this season, dropping their lone one at a neutral site against UConn, but they've really impressed on today. Another 30-point game, coming off a game where they just beat SMU by 33.
Yeah, and the other thing is that they have depth that has, they're trying to figure out who should play more. Zubic hasn't played a lot. Grant plays more today. If all of these young players that they've been playing today can contribute like they have, they're going to have really, really good depth going down the stretch of the season.
Johnson off the glass, couldn't connect, and another rebound goes down to Thomas. Am I predicting yet another 3 in this possession for the Tar Heels? They already have 6 games with 10 or more threes this season. Instead, the deep seal going at 5.
They probably had another opportunity to kick it out there for a 3. She was triple teamed inside.
Washenitz on the other end says she has a 3-ball in the tank. She now has 7 points. It's taken some time to get in this game, a player that has been very good for them on the offensive end.
They really made her the focus of the scouting report as far as not letting her get open look. She was going to have to make shots off the dribble to be a factor today, and it hasn't happened.
Dishes it off to Fye underneath and commits a foul. So Washenitz, as you mentioned, over the last 3 games has averaged 14 points and 4 rebounds. Has been blitzing a bit in this ball game with the Tar Heels defense. Fye on the other end getting another chance at the free throw line.
Yeah, I think, it's interesting for, you mentioned it a couple of minutes ago about Fye, and it applies to Washenitz and a lot of the Pitt players, that all of a sudden now your role has changed. You have to do more for your team to win. And, sometimes you feel that pressure a little bit. You don't have a deep team. You're basically playing 7 or 8 players. You got to stay in the game. But, it's as much a mental battle as it is a physical battle.
Fye has another double-double, her 8th of the season. Close to, if she gets 2 more blocks, to a triple-double. She has 2 minutes to work with as Johnson pulls up for the triple. Knocks that one down for Mikayla.
Well, the thing is, for all of these teams in the league, we've talked about it, forever. You get through this game and then you go, okay, who's next? And you realize, oh, we got another great team we have to play.
Absolutely.
Every night is a battle.
The battle coming up next for the Panthers will be on the 23rd. They play Virginia Tech. That'll be at 6 p.m. And for North Carolina, they'll see Wake Forest on that same day. 9-0, actually 10-0 run now for Pitt.
Sometimes you get to this point in the game, you don't feel as much pressure, so it's easier to make that shot, but you hope that translates over to your next game with a little bit of confidence in your shot too. For somebody like Johnson or Washenitz, you're going to play again later in the week. You need some carryover.
Especially for Mikayla Johnson, looking for that confidence, shooting from the outside, just coming in, shooting 22% from long range.
Yeah, you just, oh my. I forgot what you just said when I saw that.
I think I did too, Coach. But for Mikayla Johnson, just
Yep.
finding that rhythm, and you mentioned it, knocking down yet another triple from outside. If they don't get this one, it's that understanding of how that needs to carry over to the next.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you know, you need confidence. This is number 3 in a row. I mean, she just lining it up. Now, in the first half, I would say North Carolina's defense was a little closer, a little tighter, and that shot wasn't as easy. Now they've run to a spot where they can get a good look.
They are reviewing right now if it's a 2 or a 3.
Yeah.
And the clock.
The clock, there's some sort of a timing issue, too.
So we're getting from the officials.
The 3 was a 3.
And it's going to be reset to 58.9, as you can see at the bottom of your screen as well. And that wasn't even close. It was definitely a 3. So 13-0 run over the last 2 minutes of play. For the Panthers, trying to just figure things out on the offensive end. 9-10 coming into this ball game on the season. Their lone win in ACC play against SMU, as we mentioned and highlighted, one of the best comebacks in women's basketball history. 5 on the shot clock, sent out to Townsend for the triple, and everybody is getting in on the action.
I think that's Townsend's only second 3 of the season.
Her third.
Oh, third.
Johnson again.
Feeling it.
I think a couple after you said a couple of times who's shooting threes. She didn't point at you this time, did she?
No, no. Nor should she.
Nor. 18 points, 4 for 8 from outside for Mikayla Johnson, averaging just under 10 points on the season. The transfer from Colorado, and 4 for 4 from the three-point line. Mikayla Johnson, as this one comes to the close, the Panthers dropped to 9-11, but that was a